LGBT all rely on there being a gender binary. You add the Q that's like, oh, we want to abolish the binary, and it's like, hold up. The whole 4 letters before that relied on there being a binary. Being transgender, you go from male to female. You go from one binary to the other. Being bisexual to... This video is called Joe Rogan on LGBTQ Brainwashing, uploaded by Podcast TV.
You know, like LGBTQ, these dance parties and things, if you look at, I'm looking at these countries, like these are countries where we want to keep them away from Russia, overthrow the incumbents.
Yes.
And the way to garner support is to, and I really love how they added the Q. That just became so clear to me all of a sudden. If you sponsor LGBTQ, these are outcasts. These are people who feel that they've been marginalized. Then you add a Q, like, oh, wait a minute, I can be queer, I'm different, I'm odd. You bring more people in, then you can bring the anarchy.
The umbrella just got broader and broader. It used to be just sexual orientation. Then it was sexual orientation plus gender identity. Then we added the Q, which is just like queer, I'm a little bit different, I don't really subscribe to the binaries, which it's so interesting because the previous 4 letters, the LGBT, all rely on there being a gender binary. And then you add the Q that's like, oh, we want to abolish the binary, and it's like, hold up. The whole 4 letters before that relied on there being a binary, right? Being transgender, you go from male to female. You go from one binary to the other. Being bisexual is a binary. Bisexual is a binary. It's 2 different genders. So we just broadened the umbrella, LGBTQ plus, and then it just went on. We just widened the umbrella to include all this other shit. And that now, like, kink is involved in stuff. And it's like, bro, how did this happen? How did this happen? It's just, that's how progressivism is. It just wants to keep adding on. Oh, there's these marginalized communities too. And there's these over here. And it's like, hold on a second. We got to take a step back. This isn't what the core of the movement was about.
In.
You can get A. They have the A's in
Oh, yeah,
now,
the
which
A's,
is
I's,
so crazy.
Everything.
But the A's don't even have a dog in the fight.
But that's the point. You want them to come to the party.
Yes.
Come to the party. You're allowed
Right.
to the party.
That's
and
why
then there's a dude in a blonde wig with eyeshadow saying, we just want to get along. Can't we just be diverse? I'm like, that's the psyop.
Yes.
He's talking about himself. So he wants to feel included, which, by the way, in America, you can do whatever you want, call yourself whatever you want. People really don't have an issue with that. But they've just taken this and abused these people into their political agendas all over the world. And, of course, it sparked something here in the States. If you look, the Democrat Party,
nobody had a problem with it whenever it was just, oh, like, gay people can do whatever they want, right? They're not interfering with anybody else's life. It's fine. It only became a problem when it started affecting other people outside of the community. Whenever you start... you're walking down a public street and there's a pride parade and there's people literally naked doing sexual acts in the street, that becomes a problem. Whenever you start trying to enforce teaching gender ideology.
Most don't care if someone is gay, they just don't want it shoved down their throat like that, and don't mess with the kids.
100%. LGBTQ would have been way cooler. Pride Month would have been way cooler if it was just Pride Day. We could have done the whole fireworks thing, you know what I mean? Like how the 4th of July is just one day, you know what I mean? We could have done that. That would have been way cooler. But instead we stretched it out to be this entire month. All these corporations are withdrawing their support for it because they realize how controversial it is. And they always say, like, you read an article about that, and it always says something like, oh, we're afraid of having pushback from the Trump administration. Really, they're just afraid of having pushback from the actual general population.
They're going to die on this hill. They're still like, oh, no, LGBTQ, they're taking away our rights, because they know they can mobilize people to do that. And then you can throw in Palestine, and all kinds of people will join this group.
Did you see the city council thing in Worcester, Massachusetts yester's that's gone viral today?
No, which one is
Jamie,
that?
did you see it?
I'm seeing it right now on Twitter.
Oh, yeah,
No.
yeah. Pull this bitch up.
I haven't seen
There's a compilation of these people, like, absolutely freaking out. The best one's the compilation, if you can find the compilation. But it's all these LGBT people show up at this city council meeting.
Chris, thank you for the €5.
Do you think the gender theory stuff, T+, belongs in the same category as gay rights? LGB.
You know, I mean, I'm honestly fine with including the T. I'm fine with including the T, to be honest. Like I'm indifferent to it. Like I wouldn't be mad if we separated the T, and I wouldn't be mad if they stayed in it with us, but the Q's gotta go. The Q doesn't belong. What even is the Q? The Q is like such a large umbrella term that it just kind of includes anything that's not deemed as societally normal. I don't understand the Q. The Q is a whole ideology, right? LGB is sexual orientation, the T is gender identity, and then you got the Q that it's just like, what the fuck even is that? I would be fine with leaving the T in there, but the Q, what's going on? The QIA plus IDGAF, what's going on?
To say there's like a trans genocide. It's one of those, dude. We're gonna round up in concentration camps.
Yeah, 5 minutes long.
Yeah, just give me. Start from the beginning. Give me.
Can you wrap up, please?
Yes, I can. If you say that you're afraid of Trump and that's
This is a Q. This is a Q. This is what I'm saying.
why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
Oh, brother.
Jesus. Literally threatening violence. Bro, LGBT is supposed to be all about love, respect, tolerance, and then you're threatening to make this space entirely unsafe? What are you doing? And what are you doing with your eyebrows, bro? You have to know whenever you're not going to be taken seriously. Like, look, this is a free country. You can believe whatever you want to believe. You have freedom of speech here. That's why this country's so great and why you should probably be more appreciative of it. Because you get to come up here with a microphone and say your beliefs, and, that's perfectly allowed. But it's like, how do you not see that you are not going to be taken seriously? I feel like if these people genuinely cared about their ideology, then they would present themselves more respectably, in a more socially acceptable way, so that people would actually take what they say seriously, because nobody's taking this seriously.
Prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
That's terrible.
I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here.
Then why did you come? Go back to work. Go get your bread up. Get the bag. Fuck some hoes. Why are you here right now? Silence equals death? I'm just noticing that in the background. Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry, am I taking too long pleading for my life?
You remembered how many children I have and that two of them are...
Again, you shouldn't be able to guess someone's entire ideology just based on looking at them. You know what I mean? If you can look at someone and checkbox for checkbox figure out what they believe, that's a problem.
People expect society to change for them, not changing for the better of society.
Ooh, I like that. Santa, thank you for the 5. People expect society to change for them, not changing for the better of society. I like that. Yeah, it's very it's very hyper individualistic. It's always in the position of thinking about myself and me and what I want in this self-centered individualistic way of thinking, but it's never about what actually is beneficial for society. I like that. I like that you said that.
are trans.
There it is.
Yeah.
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
He's both.
He's both.
I'm multiply disabled. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a
Here we go.
connective tissue
Here we
disorder
go. She's about to list out all of her oppression points, back to back to back.
that causes me immense physical pain.
Then why are you here right now? Go curl up in bed, bro. Take some Advil. Chill out. Smoke a blunt. What are you doing here? You already have all of these issues going on, all of these physical problems. You're already fatigued, and you're gonna expend your energy on this? Why? You used your energy and your physical pain to make your eyebrows look like that? Like nobody's gonna take you seriously, bro.
I'm on the autism spectrum, and I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from my driver that I was
It's
in
a list,
drag,
bro.
which is
I'm pretty sure there was a study done on this. A study done on actual victim mentality, that whenever you believe that you are oppressed, you will literally look every aspect of your life. You will look for more ways in which you are a victim, look for more ways in which you are oppressed, and your brain will block out any information that's telling you, oh, you're actually empowered, you're actually in America, where you have way more rights than the majority of the planet.
I do not want to be in your DMs. I do not want to be in your
Baby girl, we don't want you in our DMs, I promise.
email inboxes. I do not want my creativity writing diss tracks like Kendrick. I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me.
Glitter?
There is a difference between being a victim and victim mentality. There are victims without victim mentality and non-victims with victim mentality.
Very good point, Raven the Red. Very good point. That's very true. Yeah, you can be a victim of something and not develop an entire victim mentality. These victims just make victimhood their entire personality. That's all they know. That's all they look for. It's actually really sad. I feel bad for them. Like, this is a terrible way to live life, to just walk around feeling like you're always the victim and like everyone's always out to get you. It's a very sad way to live. I wouldn't want that for anybody. Thank you, Santa, for
Lee
the
sucks as LGBT. I have to be associated with this.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be associated with it either. This bitch is talking about, yelling about how I had to put glitter on my face to come up here and talk to you. Do you know how hard that was for me? I had to paint my beard and throw glitter on my face. How dare you make me do this? It's like, you're so goofy. You're so It's so hard to even... It's hard to even sympathize with people like this because they're so just far removed from reality. Like, why are you a victim about glitter right now? Your struggle is glitter? Like, you have to be kidding me.
Writing diss tracks like Kendrick. I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me.
What?
I want you to listen to me.
Let us
Silence equals death. I mean, do you even... Dude.
remember that the No, that's enough. So it's like, you made me put glitter on my face, you piece of shit.
Yeah,
because
that's so
everyone knows
bad.
when you go to court, you have to have glitter.
These
on your face.
people need hugs. They need love. I
They
pray
need
for
love.
them.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah.
The biggest way to psychologically manipulate people is, or there's three ways: old people, puppies, and children. And I followed this. It started around 2012, not coincidental. When you know about Smith Month, the Smith Month Act. So that's there was a law that was put in since the Church Commission. You can't propagandize the American people. Defense Department and others went to the government and said, well, like, we're on the internet now. We might accidentally, push some propaganda on people.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. Media is a propaganda machine, just simply due to the algorithms. The algorithms will literally have you stuck in an echo chamber, being fed all of the same content that you always watch anyway. So you just end up in an echo chamber where all of your beliefs and all of your confirmation biases are reinforced continuously. So, I mean, the internet is the biggest propaganda machine that there is, and there's really kind of no avoiding that. That's just how the algorithms work. And that's why, what we talked about earlier, that's why we're seeing this extreme polarization, these people pulling apart, each ideology becoming more extreme, but at the same time, each of those extremes are becoming more similar within them. Because everyone's stuck in their echo chambers over here, and there's no real middle ground.
It started with bullying in schools. I know because John Dvorak and we followed it on No Agenda. Started with bullying, then it was we needed anti-bullying laws, and we're literally going like, what happened to sticks and stones will break my bones or punch the bully in his nose? No. Then the teachers, and then we got hate speech.
Well, the problem is the whole bullying idea is it's so good in theory. It's like, yes, kids especially, like, they shouldn't be allowed to bully each other. Let's shut that down. Like, it's such a good theory, but in practice, it can just be manipulated so easily, and we can call things bullying that aren't really bullying, and we shelter kids from having slightly abrasive experiences. And that's where this whole idea of like safe spaces come in. You know, we're just sheltering our children so that they're not able to face any type of harsh reality. And it's like, you know, I'm not for bullying either, but the problem is that when you do all of this anti-bullying campaigning and there must be safe spaces in schools and all of this, it's like people have to be socialized so that they are able to deal with conflict. They're able to deal with abrasiveness. It's part of growing up.
Laws, not actually laws, but, you know, hate speech punishments. And this kept building up until you guaranteed parents through the American Medical Association, the Pediatric Society, all of these different trade groups, that if you don't transition your child, that child will commit suicide.
Right.
And that is a horrible thing that they've done.
That's a really harsh ultimatum to give. Like, oh, you either have to transition your child or they're going to die. It's like it puts the parent in this A or B situation where they're essentially forced to choose one. And it's like there's another option. You know, there's a C option. We can't be giving parents this kind of ultimatum.
Think about these parents who may or may not one day wake up.
And like, I don't even think these parents are like ill-intending either. Like, I don't think, you know, parents who transition their kids are like deemed as these really evil beings, but I really don't, most of the time, I don't think that's where it's coming from. I think these are well-meaning parents who want what's best for their child, and the world is telling them, you have to transition them or they're going to self-delete. You know, they're trying to do what's best for their kid. They're just misguided on what is actually best for their kid.
And go, what have I done? What have I done?
Well, someone was talking about this the other day, that this is the real problem, is that so many parents have committed to doing this to their children, and they cannot face the reality of what they've done, and so they're going to dig their heels in forever, and
vote Democrat.
Talk about gender affirming care. And,
yes.
Yeah. But the thing is, that's a small percentage of people in the general population.
Thank God.
And thank God. But they're overrepresented in the fact that they make it their whole life. And so they're very loud and very vocal, and then they become a political beach ball. And I talk about beach balls.
I heard you talk about that with Bridget.
That's what it is. It's
totally.
The political beach balls at a concert. They chuck them up in the air, so we always have something to fight about. So we're not paying attention to like the USAID stuff or a lot of the stuff that's like.
Yeah, he's spot on with this. He's completely spot on with this. All of this gender wars and culture wars and social wars over the LGBT stuff, all of that is just a distraction. It's pretty much all that either president campaigned for, either candidate campaigned for is what I meant to say. That's all they campaigned on, it seems like, was LGBTQ issues and all of like abortion stuff, like all of these social issues, and completely ignored all of the economic issues, which is like the primary thing that the majority of Americans actually care about. And that's purposeful, that's intentional. It's because social issues go viral, so you're able to clip farm, essentially. Presidents are clip farming out here.
Really important. And this is just a part of this tangled web of psyops that's been running our culture. I mean, I would say our government, but it's everything, right?
Culture, yes.
So it's the government has established its hooks in us and put fear and law and rules, and the more law and the more rules, the better, because the more likely you're going to break a few of them, and then you're going to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And they've got these fucking things everywhere, and it's just allowing them to run this mafia business.
Bullying equals bad, community shame equals love from India.
Bullying is bad, community shame. Well, there's that. You bring up an interesting point there. Thank you, Neil. You bring up an interesting point there. The idea of shame. You know, in society, we've kind of lost the idea of shame. We're raised in a culture that says you shouldn't be shameful of anything. You know, there used to be prudence when it came to modesty around even things as as fundamental and as primitive as sex. You know, we had marriage, wait till you get married to have sex, dress modestly. And there were these ideas of shame if you went against that. And that was a good thing. It kept people in line. It kept society functioning. We had all of these societal norms that people followed so that we would have a functional society. And now, all of that shame has gone away. All of that shame has dissipated. People no longer feel any type of shame for engaging in hookup culture. People no longer feel any type of shame for walking naked down a pride parade in front of children. People no longer feel shame for going out in a dog mask and revealing and publicly revealing their kinks. You know, we've foregone shame. It's another one of those things. It's another one of those things that sounds really good in theory. Oh yeah, people shouldn't feel ashamed for the person that they are. People should be able to express themselves. It's one of those things that it's like, yeah, well, I'm not for shame. Of course I'm not for shame, you know? And then you think about the implications of what taking that shame away really does. I'm glad he said that. I'm glad he differentiated between bullying and shame, because those are two different things. And one is a lot more useful than the other.
Bring back shame. Without it we have gays flogging and pissing on each other in the street.
Thank you, Drew, and that is very true. The older you get, the more you see the ideology of the individualist without shame, without humility, without temperance, without any sort of collective optimism. The more you see that, the more you're like, oh, now I understand the importance of these things. They were in place for a reason.